You can see him in all the materials in the universe. Oye, Eko Hangsha, that Hangsha, that individual self. Bhuvanashasya Madhye, he is entered into the Bhuvana in this universe, penetrated into this universe. And Soeva Agni, he is the fire. You see fire anywhere, it is he. The Sulile Sannivishta, entered into the waters. Is not created as creator and creation in normal sense becomes separate. You separate. Two things are separate. But this is not the same with the knowledge of Brahman. It is that it is he created and he entered into it. As it were, creating after that he penetrated into it. That means he can be seen, he can be felt, he can be experienced in all through his whole creation. He is beyond creation, but he can be also in the creation, in everything we see through it. This is a beautiful idea. That's the idea, not only the God is transcendental, but God is immanent. And these two sides of meditation is perfectly needed in our life. One is transcendental meditation, another is sometimes that what has permeated into the everything. It is the divine everywhere. So Tamevu viditva, knowing that reality, who has echo and alone, only one, who destroys all ignorance, and he has entered into the earth, into the water, into the fire. Wherever you see, these are the materials. It is not separate from that reality. It is a thing that that consciousness is permeated everywhere. It's a very common language now. So if you can do that, then knowing this way, we have to know Brahman this way, both ways. Totapuri, in his experience, he had only, why not sit next one? Sit next one, we can see the, come in the next. Two seats, go forward yourself.
Me?
Yes.
Where do you want me to sit?
Oitus, go this way, I'm showing you. Yeah. Sit so that I can see everyone.
Oh.
Yeah. And 5 people sitting whole hall. Bhuvanasya Madhye. Yeah. It's penetrated in and out. You see, now we can see everyone. So that this is to be meditated upon, otherwise our spiritual sadhana becomes incomplete, one-sided. What I was going to say, Totapuri, such a great spiritual giant, whereas the Nirvikalpa Samadhi, he has transcendental experience. He goes into Samadhi and finished in the Nirvikalpa state. What a grand experience of life, no? It took 40 years to practice and achieve that conclusion. And now, but he didn't see the divine here. With eyes open, it is so much clouded that that sense remains in the background, but that doesn't come in the forefront. That was completed in Ramakrishna's presence. Ramakrishna became the guru. Totapuri was the first guru to teach him Vedanta. But to complete Totapuri's sadhana, Ramakrishna became the final guru of Totapuri. That's why he was going to die in the waters of the Ganga. He could not get sufficient water to drown himself and crossed this way, that way, and came back. Then he said, "What is this?" Then he came to Ramakrishna. Ramakrishna said, "Yes, you don't know this mother. Who is this mother? This mother is a Shakti, which is the manifestation of the same reality. You don't accept her." Therefore, that was the completion. That God is transcendental, you have to accept as immanent also. So when you, with eyes open, Ramakrishna used to say, God is there when you close your eyes in meditation, and God goes away when you open your eyes. So that is not a perfect experience. So that was the experience he has given. Meditate this way. First to 14 and 15 are two verses. Natatro surya bhati, there the sun does not shine, not the stars, not the moon, not the lightning. What is the question of fire? And he shining, everything shines. Okay? So first he takes it, not this to that. And then only to give you an idea, everything is shining because that shining reality is behind. Only a trace. Next he's clarifying that one reality is permeated into the earth, definitely saying, no tatra surjavati, the sun does not remain. First he said, neti neti. And then you may come back to the sun, it is he. It is that reality in the moon, in the sun, in the earth, in the planet, everywhere, in the water, in the fire. So this is the completeness of knowledge.
Why should I, like, say, I go to the roof and then I see that it's made of the substance, and then I come back down the steps and see the steps are made of the same substance. But all the while I was looking only at that substance. Like, there's nothing that the roof can give me, the steps don't already contain.
I am seeing wrongly, no?
But it's the same brick and lime dust.
But I am not seeing it. That's my point. I see this building, I see only the white paint. I don't see anything what is made of it inside, no? But it is there. My perception does not remove the validity of the truth. I perceive some way distorted image because of our mind is distorted. Mind is not clear, mind is not one-pointed and pure. Naturally, it will show it differently. So that is the point, that we view the same thing, but so many variations of their experience. So this is very important point.
But even the distortion of my mind is it. Like, I can't understand what I could possibly see that is not it.
Yeah, that is, we have to train our mind to say that is not that, it's not that, it's not that. I am seeing wrongly, but it is only the reality. So it will not happen unless how much veil of ignorance is on the land, how thick is our cloud in between the sun and me. So naturally, it may in a certain moment, in a split second, it may just get out. You can get out of it in a moment. That also is possible. You do not know. As I say, this gross example, you remember every day when you stand before the mirror in some water vapor, makes a thin layer on the mirror, and you cannot see. You are thinking, I am gone, I am not there, I don't see where is my face, where is my reality, where is my real substance, who am I? You don't find him. But it's only thin layer that can create so much. This gives clarity of our under why it is not we are not seeing, why we are doing meditation every day for so many years, and still we are struggling with this misconception, and this misconception has overpowered us. That because long time, Oito, the Rama was instructed by Vasishthadev that Rama, Janmantara Shatabhastha, Ramo Samsara Samastiti. You are in the world and think this world is real because Janmantara, not this life, other life, and infinite number of lives, no? Because you have practiced that way. World is real. Terror, fear, I have to survive. Survival of the fittest, survival of the loudest, survival of the animal world, this world, human world also, survival of the loudest. Survival is the strongest, no? So, but this is the way of conception that the world is real, this is real, and I am real, and this and that, and this what I am seeing, this is so important. And this moment it happened, it's gone forever. But we hold on to our mind, that thing, and then bring it back again. So we are making our own complexities in our own mind. So now to remove all these complexities, it takes its own time, but when, what, who can say? But it comes in a split second. Ramakrishna said, experience does not come little by little. In a dark room, you strike a match, and the darkness goes. Ramakrishna's example is very important. 1,000 years darkness in the room, Just one strike of match can remove. So the ignorance is so heavy on us, it can go just away. That's why practice, practice, practice. That's why Vasishtha said, Janmantar Satobhasta Rama, O Rama, Samsara Samastiti. That's why you think this world, I am here and this world is real. No? But he said, Satu, Satu Chirobhasa Yogeno Bina. Bina means minus, without. Without Chirobhaso. I have practice. Not 1 day's practice, 2 days practice. I have done 10 years. It's nothing. Millions of birth sanskaras are there. And in one lifetime, we are doing 10 years. So what is 10 years? And 10 years, if you count the 10 years, means even not 1 day. Every day we do 2 minutes, 5 minutes, half an hour we sit. But how much we meditate? We fight with our mind, it goes all around because this is the way. Now, if it is to be chiro bhasa yogena vina nakshiyate kachit, it will never go away, it will never wipe out. So practice, 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 practice. And don't wait for result. Just go on doing that and be happy. Be happy that you were struggling.
I'm worried about
Our problem is that when you want to see something, get something.
Oh.
Why are you seeing it? You are that. Why are you seeking for that?
Yes, exactly.
And no, that also may take us to tamas nature.
I'm worried that I have charvaka. No?
Sometimes you may say, okay, I am Brahman, what to do? Let me do whatever I am doing. That may be a dangerous thing. But you sincerely we are struggling. There is this real problem, dark night of the soul. It happens. No, everyone will feel in spiritual journey.
But it's not that, okay, now anything goes, we can just be like charvakas. It's the fact that if I'm meditating, it is perfectly, I'm content just doing that. Why would I want anything other than sitting?
Yeah, that in my mind, a mental state comes like that when people think, sadhava thinks, I don't have to do anything, I be engaged in this way. It happens. There's a spiritual mood comes. That's a blessed Swami Brahmananda, no? He was, see, after Ramakrishna's passing away, he got everything what he has to get from Vijay Krishna Goswami, the great Brahmo leader. He came to Ramakrishna also. He asked one day, seeing Brahmananda was steeped in meditation, so hours and hours and hours. He said, why are you doing this? Did not Ramakrishna give you everything? Yes, he has given everything, but I have to make it my own. Own means what? This is my own. I can have it now. I can keep it here. I can grab it. I want this moment, mine will go like that. So that's your thing. Otherwise, if somebody has given you a gift, and the gift is you have to keep somewhere. But you have not the ability to handle that at any point of time. That is the spirituality. So that much spirituality, that's why yearning sometimes comes. This world means meaningless. Why shall I do anything if I am happy with it, if I am very much peaceful within meditation and prayer? That's the one type of life, yes. Yeah. Not that everyone can follow that, but those who are got they're called, some are dhyani, some are jnani, some are bhakto, meaning some by nature predominantly a meditator. The meditator will like to meditate more. That is, the meditative tendency is prominent in that person. Others will be less. Karma will be little less. So jnana, maybe he does not want to describe. Why shall I analyze unreal, unreal? I see something here, I can feel something, and then find joy. That's all. The joy, God is Ananda, Satchidananda. If I feel joy, why shall I see, oh, it is unreal, what is my business? So it is the Jnani the Dhani, the meditator will not like this. But sometimes Dhani is in trouble. He is tamas, he is becoming tamas. Swamiji saw one group of sannyasis who were sitting and meditating and saw that they think they're all tamas sleeping. Push them and put into the work. But genuine people are there who really love to be, whenever they find time, there are japas. And one of our Swami was there, Gita Ananda Swami. He is called Japak. Whenever you go to him, he's the assistant general secretary, the whole mission headquarters of our, and he's one of the vital person there. But whenever his office time is over, he comes in and he starts his job. If you want to go for any signature or any purpose, you will keep that like that and start do your business. And as soon as you get out of the door, he starts his job again.
Yeah.
So his tendency is japa. He finds joy in that japa. God is joy. When you find in analytical, there are Gyanis. Gyanis, they don't have this, but they find tremendous attraction for analyzing what is permanent, impermanent, and real and unreal. No? And there will be karmis, they all think I'm doing for God, God, that may be predominant. But that's why these are tendencies and they're valid. And in that when genuinely mind will be purer, it will crave for God. Other things will be soulless. It does not attract the attention. So this will be the natural thing. But what he's saying that we have to practice both these together. And that's the practical Vedanta comes here.
I'm not craving for God. I'm craving for more time to sit and do japa. I
But
don't
what-
care what. Like, it's like,
But-
what experience? I can't even imagine what experience could be better than just being at home. That I don't crave that experience. I don't yearn anything anymore.
Now you find that's your point, that I find joy in that, why not be
Yeah.
there?
What else is there?
That's okay. Yeah, that a mood may come. It is not impossible. Say, Swami Brahmananda used to do that in that higher mood. The days after days, he is not eating anything. Food is brought by Swami Subodhananda. He used to go begging food from here and there. And when the big food is brought, then he will take or don't take whole day, maybe just forgetful about everything. So that is a very natural thing.
What if it's complacency? Because everyone's talking about struggle, about yearning, and I'm not struggling. I'm not yearning.
Complacency means, you find you are not reached that goal, but you think a little light, little joy, little some sort of comfort inside. Oh, I'm happy. I'm happy, and then I've achieved the goal. That is the complacency.
This is enough for me, Raj. I don't know if that's a defeat, but I don't. This is enough for me.
And that's your path. Everyone is not in the same lane, same place in our spiritual journey. Everyone is not in the same place. So don't worry about that. You go your way. Yeah. But this is many generalized path is this. Those who balance. A point will come when you cannot continue to behave as normal in Ramakrishna's condition. So that's a very high level. It is not impossible, but a very high level of mind. So to reach that point, much practice and much purity of the heart is necessary. It is possible. That's why these incarnations come and to show us the path. That each will be awakened into that consciousness. When that call will come, that will be a different state of mind. So, the main point of what I wanted to say that we have read already these two ideas. The one idea, not to Surya Bhati, their sun does not shine, moon does not do anything, no, not the stars, but the question of the fire, the lightning, thunder is also meaning is there it all pales into nothing. Like this light will pale into nothing when sun's light comes in. No? But it is powerful now. As darkness is, it's more powerful. So similarly, this is not the light. It is light of the light. So try to go back. It is beyond all. That is the neti. And tameva bhantam, he is shining. Go to that shining reality. And now it is in inmost depth going there. Now, open your eyes, then eko hangsho bhuvaneshasyamadde, that reality permeating into the earth, in the water, in the fire, in everything you see. First, it is not the same way. Going to the roof, Ramakrishna said, but it's the Upanishad says, next verse, come now and try to have. That is 24 hours spiritual. That is very important point. 24-hour spirituality. When with eyes open and with eyes closed. Because our normal life takes us to the world of appearance and how to look at the world in a different way. To giving too much minus God, it's all meaningless. Now he said, now we are reading verse number 20. 20 verse says, Yada charmavat akasham, Yada charmavat Veshtraishanti, Veshtraishanti, Manavaha, Manavaha, Tada Devam, Tada Devam, Avigayo, Avigayo, Dukkhasya Anto, Dukkhasya Anto, Bhavishyati, Yada Charmavat, Yada Charmavat, Akasham, Veshtraishanti, Veshtraishanti, Manavaha, Tada Devam, Tada Devam, Avigayo, Dukkhasya Anto, Dukkhasya Anto, Bhavishyati, Bhavishyati. So what is now saying? Charmavat Akasham Veshtrayanti. This Akash, suppose this space is covered by a charma means the skin. What will you see? You don't see the sun, you will not see the stars, nothing, no? As this ignorance, now you roll that, it's an imaginary, poetic way of saying. Suppose it is, the space is covered by a skin, and if you roll it, then what happens? The sky comes out. Yada charmavad akasham vestreshanti manava. We are manava, human being. Our eyes have been covered by the charma, means the skin, which blocks our vision to see the what is beyond. When you can have the power to roll it down, take out the covering, then what will happen? Tada devam, tada means that time, devam, God, without realizing, abhiggayo, not knowing. If you don't know God this way, that means when you roll the ignorance as you think the ignorance is spread like a skin, and that skin has covered my vision. So what you to do? You roll that skin, that means the covering is gone, then knowing God, then you can know God. Abhigaya here means without realizing, no abhigaya, not knowing. Without knowing, then there will be no suffering, will not cease. That means we have to roll that ignorance
No,
out.
that's not the intention. You see the note, they say like that, that is impossible.
Huh?
The intention of the verse, they put it in the notes like that.
Let me see what they say. Only when men shall roll up the sky like a skin. Huh? Only that time when a person shall be able to roll up this sky. Sky is covering our vision here like a skin, like a skin. Will there be an end of misery for them without realizing God? That means without realizing God here means this idea is that any effort to be free from misery without realizing God is a futile as attempt to roll up the sky. That's the point. Rolling up the sky is a futile attempt unless realizing God. That means the covering, let me see, this is, they have not explained anything here. So this Shankaracharya's book, what they say when men will be able to roll up the sky like leather, then will there be an end of sorrow without knowing the effulgent one. Then will there be an end of sorrow without knowing the effulgent one. The keyword doesn't mean complicated. As one would roll up leather, similarly, when manasa men destruction, you will be able to roll up akash from the sky, which is formless and pervasive. Tada, then, Bhavishanti, will there be antaha, an end, or a destruction, and dukkhaso, of sorrow belonging to the body and mind and coming from the nature of the gods. Abhigyayo, without knowing Devam, refulgent one, who exists as knowledge by nature, having neither origin nor end, who is untouched by hunger, etc., and is the supreme self. For relative existence is caused by the absence of the knowledge about the self. So he's saying that relative existence, this existence, is happening because why it is caused? Because of the absence of knowledge about the self. That we know. Our ignorance about the self is causing the proof of this reality of this world. This world is so real to us because we are totally ignorant about our own self. So long as one does not know the Supreme Self as one's own self, Aham Brahmasmi, for that long does one, though verily birthless, assume the form of an individual soul among ghouls, animals, human beings, and others. So long as one does not know the Supreme Self as one's own self, as we are, we do not know the Supreme Paramatman and Jivatman are the same. Aham Brahmasmi, unless you know that, what will happen? For that long period, one, though verily birthless, though by our very nature you are birthless, is Shankara saying, though very birthless, assume the form of an individual soul. You are assuming as we are a human. And so there are also animals, there are ghouls and ghosts. These are all different bodies. So, though there are so many things and others being under delusion, because we are in delusion, and in delusion we are transmigrating from one life to the other life to the other life. Transmigrate, dragging hither and thither by attachment, etc., as though by crocodiles, etc. What does it mean, crocodiles?
The Ganga, the crocodile catch.
Catches and hither and thither it takes. It is ignorance is catching us, and hither, come here and find joy here. And hither, thither, no, go there. And then from there. So it is always tossed by. That's why so many births they are talking about. Human, subhuman, there's the ghostly bodies, the ghouls. All this, it is why every life is for joy. I'll find peace here, find my real self here. No, actually we are searching for our self, who is my own, real, who is my me, real me. We are searching for that. And we are running here and trying to get it, and I don't get it there. Then I come here, I try it, I don't get it here. So life after life, this tossing from one to the other goes on. And overwhelmed by the three kinds of sorrows. We get overwhelmed by the three kinds of sorrows. That's why three Shanti mantras. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Three types of troubles we have. One, I create myself. One, I don't create, someone is creating for me. Another, neither anyone, but is natural disaster or something which creates trouble for us. So three types of vijay, though overwhelmed by the three kinds of sorrows, tossed here and there, wherever you go, every life understands that I am not reaching the goal, rather I am in distress. I wanted, so it is said, why so many human species, subhuman species are there? We want to enjoy. We want to enjoy life in a cat body, dog body, in a scorpion body, in a snake body, in so many varieties of lives, micro body. And there is a life, there is a soul in everywhere. And it is trying to enjoy that life. Being tired of that, then it turns to, okay, let me go to toss into another. That will be better life. And then go there, and then after some time, get tired of that, and then go to the another. So it is life after life, you are tossed here and there. Janma janma. And again, life after life. But the soul, the one soul, is entering into this body, trying to enjoy, frustrated, then try to another life. Another body, another body, another body. So it is all life after life. This futile test is going on, overwhelmed by the three kinds of sorrow. So that long does one, though without knowing that I am that. Why are you searching? Whom will you find? It is you only. Until we have that experience, Sankara says, that we are tossed by our desires, and from birth to birth we are going to the same soul, say X one person. That same soul entered into this life and that life and that life. And ultimately, being tired of every path, it turns back to inside and to see God everywhere. Then if I am everywhere, what am I asking for? Everything belongs to me because I am the only reality. When that knowledge comes, then the search stops. Does it make sense? We are searching. So I am searching for say, a beautiful dress. But all dress belongs to me. Suppose you are do you steal from, do you crave that in your home when you are there is a costly material in one corner. Do you crave and cry, oh, how shall I get it? Because you know it is yours. You have no craving for that. When we crave for something, means I am lacking. And that thing will make me fulfilled. But when I am everywhere, or that Satchidananda is everywhere, where will you go to find? Whom will you go to find? That's what very beautifully says it. So long, if we had the Sanskrit, that would have been much enjoyable reading. So long as one does not know that this is the problem, we'll have to run like this, like a shuttlecock. Tossed by here, tossed by there, tossed by there all the time, running here and there and there and there and there. But how long? One does not know the Supreme Self as one's own self. It is me. Whom am I searching? Who will give me? It is me. And everywhere, I am everywhere. And the other verse, in the water, in the fire, in this, everywhere, I, that Atman. So if we find our identity everywhere, Magrita Kasya Siddhanam, Ishopanishad says, Kurvan Neveha Karmani, Jiji Vishet Satagam Samaha. You do work if you live, or as long as you live, to continue to do your work. Magrita Kasya Siddhanam. And you need not have to be greedy for attaining anyone's property because everything belongs to you. You foolishly thinking it is in possession of others and you will have to grab it, and getting that you will be happy. But you are that. You need not have to get that. It is already yours. Already yours. That's why they give the example of the chain in the neck. Forgotten that it is chain. The necklace is here itself. People forget the eyeglass here and search for eyeglass everywhere. They do example of the deer running hundreds of miles to find where is the fragrance of that kasturi is coming. So it is searching. Ultimately, when he finds that it is here, where shall you go? What you have to do? You are that only to know that, then you'll be happy. That is the only source of happiness. All this journey, so this identification with the soul, with the supreme soul, or you can say Jivatman Paramatman, or Aham Brahmasmi. I am that experience comes. That means that only one consciousness, one abides into that consciousness, all desires leave him. And he has no craving for anything, but because it is everything belongs to him. So, that says here, though verily Atman, we are birthless by our nature, assume the form of an individual. You have assumed this body, you have assumed that body. Each soul taken one form. And not only human form, it is ghouls, animals, human beings, and others, being under delusion. We are all under delusion. And that's why we are transmigrating, no? Transmigrates, dragged hither and thither by attachment. We get attached to this. We get, after bitter experience, give up, then go for attachment for another thing. Attachment does not go away, but attachment hides inside. I am detached from that incident or that person or that environment. No? Oh, I have a bad experience. I'm not going to go there again. But you come somewhere and you get attached into another thing. This attachment is like a what is called Velcro. It lacks this side, it will touch, and it does not want to come out. You put that way, it goes that way. No, it does not come out. Not to come. So the attachment is the inner instinct. Unless we know I am the Atman, that attachment goes to the Atman, pure consciousness. This type of tossing back and forth continues. But there is no eternal damnation. With this experience, people give up searching. Kathopanishad says outside, and then it turns into inward journey to find within. And in this journey to inside, at the very beginning he cannot focus inside, so he'll have to practice outside also. So that's why Upanishad is helping us to see here and see there, and this practice continue until you feel that you are one with that. So, and then when again he realizes the Supreme Self, which is without cause and effect. Yeah? If one understands there is no cause, there is no effect, that only one. Two things are there, then it can be cause and effect. You may say, what is the cause? Seed is the cause of the tree. Plant, and plant becomes the tree. Plant is the cause of the seed. So this is a round and round questioning, finding cause, ultimate. That's why Vedanta says, no. You cannot put the question cause to the cause, causeless. Ultimate truth is causeless. We have to hit the ground there. So go back to that causeless state. So when without cause and effect, say there is no cause, there is no effect. Cause and effect comes when we are in duality. And characterized as not this and not this. It is as I am Atman. What is happening?
A fire truck is here.
Okay, go and check. কারো কিছু অসুস্থ হয়েছে হয়তো, someone has become sick or what? Okay, so which is without cause and effect, characterized as not this and not this, untouched by hunger, untouched by thirst. There is no hunger, no thirst, which exists as knowledge by nature, knowledge, big knowledge, having no beginning nor end, which is absolute bliss, then becoming free from the Maya and its effects, he becomes absolute bliss. So when you by this process understands I am birthless, I am beginningless, I am the source of all knowledge, I am the bliss, absolute bliss. Thinking this way, he becomes free from all effects. He becomes absolute bliss. This is the purport. It has also been said. So this is the purport of this mantra, meaning that how do we can roll the covering like a leather covering the sky. So this ignorance has covered. When that should be given up by this practice, then knowledge comes. And knowledge is that you are that. That is the knowledge. Knowledge remains covered by ignorance. Bhagavad Gita says. Thereby the creatures become deluded. But in the case of those whom the ignorance of theirs becomes destroyed by the knowledge of the self, their knowledge, like the sun, reveals that supreme reality. Those who have their intellect absorbed in that reality whose self is that, who are steadfast in that, who have that as their supreme goal, they attain the state of non return, their dart having been removed by knowledge. Bhagavad Gita, 5th chapter, 15 and 17. So it is this supporting the Upanishadic idea to understand that knowledge remains covered by ignorance. Formula. Thereby the creatures become deluded. Ajnanena avritam jantu, tena mujyanti jantava. Ajnanena avritam jnanam. Jnanam is knowledge, is ajnanena avrita. Avrita means covered. Covered by ignorance, the knowledge is hidden. Tena mujyanti, and as a result, the ordinary people like us, we get attached or deluded. Mujyanti. But in the case of those are enlightened people, that ignorance of theirs becomes destroyed by the knowledge of the self, their knowledge. When the knowledge of the self comes, this ignorance vanishes, like the sun reveals, so similarly the Atman reveals. Those who have their intellect absorbed in that, whose buddhi is straight goes to that, whose self, real self is that, who are steadfast in that realization, who have that as their supreme goal, they attain the state of non-return. Non-return means not to come back in the body-mind complex again. Having been removed by knowledge. Now, in order to show that the knowledge of Brahman, when it runs through the traditional line of teachers, becomes the cause of liberation, the text points out the tradition as well as the person eligible for knowledge. Next verse is they're talking what they'll. So let me see what Swami Lokeshwarananda Maharaj has said. Jara charmavat akasam. It says human beings have skin covering their bodies. He's saying that our body is covered by the skin, no? It is impossible to imagine that someday they would be able to cover the sky with a skin that way. When such an impossible thing happens, then it will be possible for them to attain happiness without knowing Brahman. That is the indication. Ki hoyeche? Something is going on. They got stuck. Go and bring the information.
They don't.
Anyhow, we cannot do anything. There are some people to do. So now, this is very simple. We can understand the verse now. Human beings have skin covering their bodies, no? So that's why we do not know what is under the body. We do not know the truth inside. Similarly, it is impossible to imagine someone tries to cover the sky. It is impossible to cover with any skin how big you can take to cover the entire sky. That is impossible. Similar impossibility will be there that you will be free from all troubles without knowing God. That is impossible. It makes better sense. So it is impossible to imagine that someday they would be able to cover the sky with a skin in that way. The whole sky I shall cover with the skin. As it is impossible. Similarly, when such an impossible thing happens, then it will be possible for them to attain happiness without Brahman. That means you have to first see Brahman, and that effort to cover the entire universe with something, it's impossible. Can you cover the sky with leather? No, it is impossible. Just as you cannot cover the sky with leather, so also you cannot be happy without realizing yourself. That attempt is a futile attempt. That's easy. You are covering that attempt. If you can take, you have money, you have effort, everything, but it will be impossible to do that. Another meaning is that you cannot hold up the sky like you can hold up leather. Just as that is impossible, so also is it impossible for there to be an end of your suffering.
Rakhan.
Ki hoyeche?
He went to CBS
Huh.
and then fainted there. So somebody drove to him back.
Ah.
So now that is why they call 911. So they are checking primarily
Hmm.
and then we'll take him.
Oh, he has gone. But they have
No,
taken.
he's still in monastery.
That's right. Okay. Oh, he was feeling that not good.
He told you before to me that.
He said he will go tomorrow. But anyhow, so just as that is impossible, that means another meaning is that you cannot hold up the sky like you can hold up leather. Just as that is impossible, so also is it impossible for there to be an end of your suffering without knowing who you are. The Upanishad includes these verses only to urge us to try harder and harder. That means he is saying it is an impossible thing to cover the sky with the leather. Impossible. Similarly, it will be impossible to know Brahman. Without Brahman, you will be happy. You want happiness? Only to know God. So that is the key point. The Upanishad includes these verses only to urge us to be harder and harder. We all want happiness, but how can we be happy? The Upanishad wants to impress it on our minds that there is no other way. Shankara comments, it has been stated that you can have liberation only if you have self knowledge. Why this limitation? Upanishad says that you can be liberated only by self-knowledge. All the Upanishad verses ends with that. With the self-knowledge, you can be immortal, like that. So he says, why can we not have liberation by some other means? Because we are born and reborn owing to our ignorance of the self. This process of birth and rebirth involves endless suffering. For instance, we may be born as wild animals, or birds, or insects, or as human beings. The form that we take is determined by our character. If we have wild passions, we will be born as wild animals. If we are stupid, we will be born as insects. We will be born as human beings if we can improve our character by practicing self-restraint. It is a great good fortune to be born as human being, but then we can learn to discriminate. Not this, not this. We can renounce sense pleasure and concentrate on the pursuit of the self-knowledge. Eventually, we realize the self, which is bliss absolute. This self always is there, but hidden by ignorance. You must dispel the ignorance by knowledge, just as you dispel darkness by light. When you have knowledge, you realize yourself as the cosmic self. You then attain liberation, and you are never again born. It is a question of hard work, reasoning, living an austere life, meditation, and also thinking of yourself as the cosmic self. So, Jnana Karma Yoga Bhakti, lastly. And Ramakrishna books will always end in like that. Whatever, so ignorance can be, this is just to emphasize that don't attempt, as it is humanly impossible to cover this sky with the skin, so don't try to do that type of effort without seeing God. You don't try to find happiness and peace minus knowing that your real nature or God or the self. Now we'll go to the next verse. Oh, a few minutes are there. Shall we read another? No, now it's enough.
Well,
Okay, another. Now, in order to show the knowledge of Brahman, when it runs through the traditional line, that means knowledge is, we are reading in the books, no? But it should run through a tradition. As the musical talent moves through a tradition. The dance, and there is a tradition, teachers to student it comes. So he says that in order to show that the knowledge of Brahman, when it runs through the traditional line of teachers, becomes the cause of liberation. You need Gurumukhi Vidya. That's why in Hinduism, that's a very important thing. So many books are there, anyone can get mantra anywhere, maybe much better mantra. But why then go to Guru? It's a Guru Mukhi. It should come from the mouth of Guru. It's a tradition. He got it from his Guru. His Guru is his Guru. So that's a tradition of wisdom passed through generation and generation. So to prove that, this next verse 21 will read. The text points out that the tradition has also person. Tradition is as also the person eligible for knowledge. So now this 21 verse says, Tapa Prabhavat, Tapa Prabhavat, Deva Prasadacha, Deva Prasadacha, Brahmaha, Brahmaha, Setasaro, Setasaro, Atho Vidwan, Vidwan, Atyaswaminbhyo, Atyaswamibhyo, Paramam Pavitram, Pavitram, Provacha Sammak, Provacha Sammak, Rishi Sangha Justam, Rishi Sangha Justam, Tapa Prabhavat, Tapa Prabhavat, Deva Prabhavat, Prasadacha, Brahma se, Brahmaha, Brahmaha, Shetasaraha, Atho Vidwan, Atyaswamibhyo, Paramam Pavitram, Provacha Sammak, Provacha Sammak, Rishi Sangha Justam, Sangha Justam. What does it mean? That as it is well known, Shwetashwatara having realized Brahman through the power of austerity and the grace of God, they are fully taught to the monks the supreme and the holy Brahman that is duly adored by the hosts of sages. That means this is the knowledge. One sage, his name was Shwetashwatara. In his name, this Upanishad, Shwetashwatara Upanishad. So he says, as is well known that Shwetashwatara, the sage, he got this knowledge not by just reading books. Tapaprabhavat, he did tremendous austerity and spiritual practice. Shwetashwatara, having realized Brahman to the power of austerity and also Deva Prasada. Two things are necessary. It is called it, you have to do your sadhana and you have to wait for the God's grace to come down. Ramakrishna says God's grace is all the time there. But still, you have to make an effort to go there and then God's grace two together. A very beautiful verse. That means we have to be up and doing and God's grace needs to be invoked. Please help me, O Lord, I am trying. Vijay, every day we say, Tasmat Tameva Sharanam Mamadina Bandhu. I am taking refuge in you. I am your only son. I have no power of my own. Please help me. Tasmat Tameva Sharanam. I take refuge in you only. So God's grace is invoked like that. So it is thereafter, then that Shwetashwatara, as a well-known Shwetashwatara, realized Brahman, which is talking about so far, through the power of his austerity and the grace of God, thereafter fully taught to the monks. Uttaswami means the ashram, they are beyond the ashram, Utyaswami, sannyasis, the monks. He gave this knowledge to the monks and thereafter fully taught the monks. What is that? The supreme and the holy Brahman, that truth of the Brahman. Paramam Pavitram, which is the purest of the pure. Prabhuvacha, he told, Sammak Rishi Sangha Justam. He told this truth fully to this sadhu sangha, Sammak Rishi, those who are duly the really host of sages and saints, they told. So that Rishi realized himself, gave that knowledge to, they say, first is the monks in their tradition, and to the holy people of sages and saints. And we are getting that same traditional knowledge from him. So here, Shwetashwatara attained self-knowledge by the power of his austerities and by the grace of God, to whom he rendered selfless service. Then he passed on his knowledge to monks, to those who had renounced the world, just as he has experienced it. Earlier sages such as Sanaka had sought this supreme knowledge. So two things are necessary for success in spiritual life. One is tapaha, that is austerity, hard work, and effort. Austerity we mean only not to eat, to bear with the heat and cold. That is the traditional austerity. But Sankara defines austerity differently. How to control your mind, that is austerity. And more of subtler austerities are there. That is, be truthful is austerity. To live in the world with purity is austerity. So many temptations and bad things are there. So austerity, and one is tapaha, that is austerity. In real meaning is hard work. Meditate more, pray more, do selfless work more. Try to think every day what is important, not important, like that. All the 24 hours alertness, that is very important. Very hard as you can, an effort. You must try very hard as you can. The second is Deva Prasada, the grace of God. But what if you are non-dualist and do not recognize there is a God? Then what will happen? The word Deva means also refer to the self, your own self. It is through the grace of yourself or the Brahman. Another meaning is that to the grace of your Guru. Some people may think the Guru's grace. And anyhow, all grace comes from God. So we can say God's grace. The Guru helps you by teaching and directing you. The sage Shwetashwatara acquired the supreme knowledge, the knowledge of Brahman, through his own effort and through God's grace. Then he passed it on to whom? Atyasramibho means to those who are beyond the ashramas, that means stages of life. Those who have left their heart and home and living for God alone, wandering monks, that type of people. According to Hinduism, there are 4 stages: a brahmacharya, student life; grahastha, the life of householder; vanaprastha, the life of retirement; and finally, there is a sannyasa, the life of monk. Sannyasa is called here Attaswami, because a monk has gone beyond Ati, the ashramas, the other 3. He has renounced everything. If a person is prepared to renounce everything for the sake of the supreme knowledge, then he is in Attaswami. And this knowledge can only be given to such people. So, whom you give this knowledge, whom you talk about this knowledge, who can utilize it. That means whose mind is really pure and they are sincere and they are searching for God. You give it, then it will be useful. Otherwise, it will be torture. You keep someone here to sit forcefully for some hour, every time, that's why people run away. It is too tough, too same repetition, dry and this and that. So that's why it is Tasrami means knowledge can be given to such people. It is not meant for ordinary people because they will not be able to understand it. Not that it is bad to give them, but they will misinterpret even. A person must be able to say, I know this knowledge is the goal of my life. I want to reach that goal and I don't want anything else. That's why it is said, don't give it to people who are not seeking for this knowledge. It is only to be given to those who are sincere. Gita at the end is at the end of the Gita also the same idea. Any scripture they say, don't give who is not austere, who does not love God, who is not truthful, who is not honest, because that will be misinterpreted and it will not do good to them. So that we end here. We'll read again this last 2-3 verses are there. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Tat Sat Shri Ram Krishna Pranamastu. So there is one question has come just to see how can I purify my mind if I have certain wrong traits. For example, I have an impure, lustful outlook towards women. How can I rectify this wrong trait and have a godly outlook towards women instead? Yeah, that is the problem of everyone. That is the major problem, and not only for the women or for the men or wherever. It is a question of the lust inside, and it is there. But that can be, Ramakrishna said, it can be given a twist. This is problem for the monastics also. In monastic order, so many stories you hear because of that is the major problem. How to master that. So one solution Ramakrishna gave, why to be afraid of that? Give a twist towards God. Give the desire to say, oh Lord, I want to see you. Why am I not seeing you? To turn that lust towards. Also, another thing, good idea, in Indian tradition they are taught, Mahapurush Maharaj said, have you not in your home your mom, your sister? So look upon them as your mother, as your sister, or as your father or your brother. Even in the vows of some vows, monks take some vows. Before that, brahmacharis take some brahmacharinis. For brahmacharinis is said that I will look upon all men as my father or my brother. Women, when they take these vows. And the men say, I will look upon after every woman as my mother or my sister. That's a purer relationship. Try to correct that attitude like that. So if that will reduce, and also turn towards God. Anything happens that turn towards God will purify. So not to be worried about that, but also Sri Ramakrishna even said that pray to mother, oh mother, take away this my filth of my mind. It is there. It is the what is called the attraction is good. Radha and Krishna, their love, attraction is good, but it should be that attraction. The other part, if you go, only that attraction is the connection with the divine. Lower self wants the higher self to meet, right? Iron filing wants to meet with the magnet. So that is the attraction. For God, if it can, then life becomes fulfilled and pure. So it is a struggle and effort continuously. And as we keep our mind in holy thought, it will go away. It is like a wave, it comes in the mind and goes away. So if we can really think in this way, then when the wave comes, it can be just avoided. When the wave comes in the, people go for surfing, how they surf on the waves. No? So to know little that effort and know some tactics, that is the way. When it comes, how to run away from that or to face it, just climb over it, overcome it, or bow down your head, it goes up over your head. So like that, or sing some glories, sing some song, run and do some chore work, call some friend, like to digress that wave which is just trying to hit and smash, just to get out of that and pray to Thakur. It is a lifelong struggle. Unless the mind is pure, mind does not feel that joy from God, it will be there all the time. And so all the sages, saints, see, all the rishis, munis, they have become gods and goddesses, go there. It runs from here to there, every level. So it is a struggle and struggle to purify ourselves by pure thought of God. That's why mother is a pure thought, sister is a pure thought. Sometimes you may have different mother and sister's relationship here. We are not talking about that relationship. We are talking mother is genuine mother, sister is sister. No? It's a pure relationship. Okay, so tomorrow we'll have a gospel class at 7:30 and see you then again. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.
Raj,
Yes.
so I have not slept in 3 days. I have
Huh?
not